Hi everyone, I'm Daisy Rocha and this is what's happening in Brazil. We start by updating you on the latest news from the country. This week, former President Jair Bolsonaro was charged with plotting to prevent Lula's inauguration in 2022. The plan allegedly included individuals who were also part of the January 8 acts of vandalizing Brasilia in 2023. Last November, Bolsonaro was accused by the federal police along with his allies, including ministers and politicians. The charge now head to the Supreme Court, which will decide whether to move forward with criminal proceedings. The Brazilian government is talking about the controversial idea of oil exploration in the Amazon River basin. The initiative faces opposition from environmental agencies concerned about the risks to biodiversity and local communities. The region has a high risk of oil accidents, causing permanent damage. The debate continues and no decision has been made yet. Speaking on the environment, more than half of Brazil's rivers are drying up, with the problem being most severe in areas with intensive agriculture activities. The loss of flow is due to the well drilling and excessive use of groundwater. The government is being urged to take immediate action to address the issue and promote sustainable water management practices. In today's story of the week, you will learn more about the Amazon at the center of the global climate emergency debate, facing contradictions and challenges in its urban areas. Social movements from its neighborhoods and areas highlight the invisibility of these issues, lack of investment and urban planning, leading to one of the largest slums areas in Brazil.
According to the 2022 census by the Brazilian Institute of Geography and Statistics, also known as IBGE, northern Brazil has the highest percentage of people living in slums, almost 19%, 2 times more people than northeast and southeast Brazil. Belém and Manaus are the only capital cities in Brazil with more than 50% of their populations living in this type of housing.
Our urbanization process was very intense. What happened in other countries or even in other regions of Brazil in the space of a century and a half, we did in less than 30 to 40 years. And at the same time, there was also a very large diversity of clusters of urban centers.
The Trata Brasil Institute's report named 9 cities located in the legal Amazon among the 20 worst in Brazil when considering water supply and sewage collection and treatment. Belém and Ananindeua, the 2 most populous cities in the state of Pará, are the 5th and 6th in the list, respectively.
When we talk about the challenges the legal Amazon faces in certain areas, such as sanitation, public safety, water supply, and education, we are going to see a lot of public concern about how these public services are often neglected. For example, when we talk about basic sanitation and water supply, we see a great contradiction because we are in the largest hydrographic basin on the planet, the Amazon basin, with the highest percentage of fresh water on the planet, and at the same time, there is a lack of water every week on the outskirts of Belém.
Most Amazonian cities have both continental and island areas. The insular area of Belém, for example, corresponds to over 60% of its territory, with 44 islands which live a reality of marginalization regarding public demands and policies.
This invisibility of populations doesn't only happen on islands. I'll give you some examples. The labor market in the cities of Amazon has historically been mostly what the IBGE calls informal. And where are these informal activities in the city? Then you have an aspect of the city that is very neglected from the point of view of public policies. Informal jobs are closely linked to our habits and the ecosystem. If I take an aspect, for example, of our urban structure, let's say major roads in Belém, especially in the center area, start in a river and, in general, in some port and end in a market.
Most of the ports and markets supplied by riverside communities have precarious structures. In addition, the populations of these territories live with various shortcomings, including sanitation and access to drinking water. These are political, economic, and socio-environmental realities that will benefit Lido from more than $860 million in investments to make the city fit for COP30.
Eu tenho pensado assim sobre quanto
I've been thinking about how in 5 years we will suddenly miss the COP. In the same way that people sometimes miss the Belle Époque as a lost opportunity. Altamira, for example, what did Belo Monte leave in terms of improving the quality of urban life in the city? These cycles are linked to projects, in our case, linked to an event. They are positive in the short term. In the medium and long term, the legacy they leave is still very positive. I think that's the fear of history repeating itself.
tendem a ser muito positivas. Acho que esse é o receio, assim, que essa história se repita.
Launched during the State Fair for Agrarian Reform in Belém, the capital city of Pará, the photograph exhibition for the Right to Memory, the MST, and the Fight for Land showcases a historical collection. The show features records by activists and supporters highlighting the movement's stories. Watch now on our Culture Talk and find out more about how the landless rural workers movement provides access to education, health, and culture for its population.
Under the name For the Right to Memory, the MST in Pará and the Fight for Land, around 110 photographs by activists, supporters, and photographers were exhibited in the center area of Belém during the State Fair for Agrarian Reform. Curious eyes wandered through the history of the movement, marked by tragedies such as the Eldorado do Carajás massacre, but also by children's smiles and marches in defense of rights.
Eu tive a oportunidade de testemunhar, de registrar.
I had the opportunity to witness it and record through photos the memory of the MST here in the state of Pará.
Aqui no estado do Pará.
So the feeling that I have is kind of a sense of accomplishment.
Isso é sentimento de dever cumprido.
Because recording, rescuing a moment, a situation that we are also part of, is as if I were also telling my own story.
Se eu também estivesse contando a minha própria história.
Each image represents a moment in the MST history,
Do MST.
so it's of huge importance to tell this story through images.
A contação de história por meio das imagens.
The collection also includes photographs of the struggle for land in the early 80s in Pará, even before the creation of the landless workers movement.
Claro que foi período difícil, né?
It was a very difficult period, both because of the dictatorship in Brazil and the limitations to follow all the occurrences in Pará. Something I used to say even back then was almost impossible to do.
No estado do Pará.
Sponsored by the Paulo Gustavo Law, the exhibition is a collective effort spanning decades.
E essa luta realmente tem sido travada com bastante.
This fight has really been fought with a lot of determination, intense dedication on the part of the group, and it must continue this way as long as we can keep up as an organized civil society. We must be close because it is a citizen's right, our right as Brazilians to access these lands that are violently disputed in a very unequal way.
A exposição fotográfica também marca o que a gente
The exhibition also marks what we believe to be the art and culture produced by the working
pela
class,
classe trabalhadora. A cultura
a kind of cultural production that is life itself,
da vida, mas
but above all,
sobretudo, a
art
arte e
and
a
culture
cultura
produced to
produzidas
change
pela
reality.
transformação da realidade.
The exhibition will tour landless workers' settlements and cities in other regions of Pará.
É uma exposição que está em construção.
It's an exhibition that's under construction.
Alimentada pelo
It's about to grow, to be fed by all the memories added when people see it, visit it, and talk about
quando
it.
dialogam sobre ela.
It's an exhibition on the move,
Em movimento, tanto
both because it is itinerant,
instalação,
but also because it is willing to grow along with the collective memories of the landless
as
movement.
memórias coletivas do movimento sem terra.
Did you like the show? So hit the like button and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to receive notifications. We'll see you next week.